All right, thank you very much for sticking around to Smart Means Business. 4 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock. Third hour and final hour of Daily Kickstarter, where we drive the business conversations that usher you into a brand new business day. Quite a number of discussions do happen every day, but the information that you get every morning will steadily lead you into understanding how the scope of the business world is moving. Well, besides that, as we move here, we are still discussing issues of labor externalization in Uganda, and then issues that are at hand, and then issues as well that have always been around the corner. I believe everyone has got issues. Either way, you may have a friend, a relative, or even a parent who is working abroad. Some of them have actually successfully been able to go out without using a company, and they are earning some good money, and of which those are very few. Then the others are actually moving with other companies here and there. So some of those things are what we are discussing. Now, to take you back a little bit, in 2005, the government initiated the Externalization of Labor Program with two objectives. And if you have to look at some of the objectives, was to create a safe, orderly, regular, and formal channel for which Ugandans will be definitely choosing to seek employment away from the country. Now, the other objective was to establish a short-term window for addressing unemployment in the country. That was 2005. So I believe maybe the government was projecting that by 2022, the numbers of unemployment will be quite beyond. But nevertheless, when you look at the reason as to why some people move out of the country is because of unemployment cases, then the others, it's because of less pay. Maybe they want to get greener pastures to move out. Now, this brings me to the issue of human trafficking. We've got all these cases of human trafficking rising every other year, and you did mention that some people actually travel as agents are waiting for them the other side.
Yes.
So when you look at human trafficking cases, they are rising. But one would still ask, what is the main cause of the human trafficking? Do people just fall prey, victims, or something else?
Thank you. Yeah, so within this labor externalization, we've got wrong elements of people, or that traffickers are also using that opportunity. Just like the causes for labor migration, it is the same cause. There are almost the same causes for labor trafficking, people who are trafficked. People are desperate. Young people are very desperate because of the unemployment. They are very, very desperate. So they want to get the quickest opportunity that there is. Now, the traffickers prey on that, of the desperation that is coming with the unemployment and poverty and all that, and especially the fact that young people don't have access to productive resources like land that they could use as collateral. So because a mixture of that ends up pushing people, or they end up making people vulnerable to being trafficked. Now, in this labor migration, for example, let's take a look at what is happening right now in UAE and the people that are being deported and all that. Some of those people are actually victims of trafficking in person. That before they leave this country, there are agents that are waiting for them the other side. People go on internet. You see, technology is good. It is very good because it connects us. It brings us to one. But it is also being used by the wrong elements to traffic people. Okay. Because this crime of trafficking in person within the labor externalization program is thriving because of technology. So someone will go online, apply for a job, and in most cases, because they are trafficking you, they will tell you you've passed the interview. They will even make arrangements for you to travel, only to reach the other side, and you end up that what you applied for is not what you're getting. Maybe they are forcing you to either become a prostitute or do other criminal acts that you are not supposed to have been done. So that is how people are ending up as victims. In fact, in this particular program of the government where they are bringing back these people, the government ought to have had a robust plan of when these people are being brought back. Each of them, instead of just letting them go to their homes, okay, they needed to be asked and to provide information to the state. How did they end up into these conditions? Because the agents are here and there.
Okay.
There are those who are recruiting on behalf of the agents that side. So we need to be able to curtail this, because trafficking a person is a network crime. It's a syndicate crime. I will recruit you and connect you to that agent like that. So we needed this category of people to give the government information so that they are able to curtail this process. Because you wonder, how can over 3,000 Ugandans leave this country on tourist visas? Some of them, when you look at them, they couldn't even afford their ticket, meaning they are agents that actually supported them to be able to go. If you ask some of those young girls, those young ladies, what job were you doing in UAE? You would be in shock. They had never worked formally, but rather they were doing things on the street, which is, it could be illegal, and they were being exploited. So we need to look into that. And that is how the mixture, actually the thing between labor migration and trafficking in person, the line between labor migration and trafficking in person is very thin, because people exploit that vulnerability and the desperate of looking for employment into. We also have a network of smugglers. There are people who smuggle other people into another country.
That is the case I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
Because if someone is with over 100 externalization, labor externalization
companies. No, with over 300.
Over 300.
Yes.
Over 300 that have been licensed and legalized.
Yeah.
I still want to understand, why then do people choose different means? Because if you're to look at these cases, I believe you've got time to interact. The ones we've interacted with will tell you labor externalization companies charge highly, too high a fee that they believe it's too much, and at the end of the day, when you reach the other side, they also have a percentage they are taking off your salary. So they believe by moving with these agents, it becomes easier for them to move out of this country, and it becomes easier for them to at least enjoy the little they earn.
So let me just tell you about, it's a myth.
Okay.
I want to tell our dear viewers that it's a myth when people say that when you go with the licensed company, it's more expensive. You know what they're referring to? It's expensive in terms of time of waiting to go through the entire process. That is what becomes expensive for them. And yet that process is put there for your own good, you as the would-be migrant, you as a Ugandan who wants to go and work abroad. But in most cases, people are hoodwinked. After the traffickers, some people actually, if you ask them, and interacted with them, if you ask them that, did you ever try to use a labor recruitment company, licensed recruitment company, they will say no. I was told that it is expensive. So it is, you know how you acquire a myth and a word goes around and say it is expensive and you don't even try. You don't even try yourself. Because, let me tell you, in whichever way, there is no way we can say that it's expensive more than the illegal recruiters. In fact, to the contrary, the people we have interacted with, you find a person has paid 10 million shillings. The people who are like to, they're being taken to Canada for work. They're being taken to England for work. And they're paid like 10 million shillings, and you're wondering, young man, young woman, if you could afford 10 million shillings, why couldn't you use the 10 million shillings to do something here? Over the weekend, I was interacting with a young lady who is selling a plot of land so that is able to give a company 10 million shillings so that she's taken to Holland.
No, we've got many of those who actually sell even property at home, close to 20 million, just to move out of the country.
Why? Because they have been lied to. They have been told that when you go the other side, a cleaner, you earn 4 million shillings.
Jesus.
And I always tell people that, look, when they tell you 4 million shillings, convert that money into dollars and look at that economy that pays a cleaner over 1,000 US dollars as a cleaner, you know? So that you are able also to look at things. What the problem is this, most people don't have information. Like we're sharing here today. They don't have information. But let me tell you, it is only for your own benefit to use licensed companies. If they say that the only problem in it, these people tell you, within 2 weeks you'll be out of this country. So people want things that are quick, very, very quick. But I also wanted to note something, that when you go through the licensed company, and I want to emphasize this, it's not that it's not a guarantee that you will not face challenges when you reach your workplace. Like any other workplace, Paul, people face challenges. But when you face challenges when you went through a proper licensed company, your relatives, friends, and the government of this country, they have somewhere to start from. They have someone to hold accountable for you and say you took this person and this is what the person is saying, and therefore you have to bring back this person. That is the benefit in it. As opposed to when you went with an agent who is not, and in most cases, Paul, they know them as Lydia.
Okay.
Lydia. And then do you want the government of Uganda to look for all the Lydias in this country and then summon them and say, is it you who took Samantha to, in this condition? The government will not do that. It will not have that capacity. But we are asking that use the license company. And when you use them, ensure your job is verified. 2, ensure you sign a contract before you leave. For you to know that you are going into a proper employment process, you must sign your contract of employment before you leave the country. Give a copy of that contract to maybe a relative, friend, and another person that you trust. After that, before you leave, you have to undergo what we call pre-departure orientation. What are they doing for you in the pre-departure? They are taking you through the terms and conditions of your employment for you to understand them, at least in your local language, that at least you understand, so that you are making an informed decision. Okay. Let me say something, Paul. There are people, you can either go out of this country to work through a licensed company, or you can yourself get employment. Listen, and this is where people get it wrong. Yourself, you can source for your own employment, but when you source for it, the law is telling you, please go to the Ministry of Gender. Take that employment offer. The Ministry of Gender will work with other ministries like Ministry of Foreign Affairs to verify for you that employment offer of that person in that foreign country. So that option is also there. But in most cases, people do not take this employment offer that they have got. They instead work in underground. And what shows you that this employment offer is not true is when they tell you, don't board from Uganda, go and board from Kenya. Why? You use a bus from Uganda to Kenya because you are allowed. You can just use your national ID and you cross. True. And then when you reach, and then you board. Those are indicators that where I am going, it is not safe. Because you cannot tell me that I cannot board from my own country. Okay? Then 2, when you go and you don't have a signed contract of employment, that signed contract of employment, if you've got that job by yourself, please take it to the Ministry of Gender for verification purposes. Okay. Just like the ministry verifies the job order for the recruitment companies, they will also verify this individual job offer that you've got, finding out, is that company existent? Are they indeed looking for this person?
Don't you think it's a bit harsh for someone, not harsh as a say, but quite difficult for a lay Ugandan, because we all know how difficult it is sometimes to get to these ministries. I mean, there are easier platforms for them to at least get these particular validations that this company I'm using, the contract I have, is valid for 2 years. I'm going with this company, I'm going to this country. Is there any other platform where you can send in your details to the ministry? Because there are quite many Ugandans.
Let me tell you, Paul. With something concerning you, okay. It cannot be hectic, because right now the ministry has tried to improve the staffing in that particular employment service unit. Okay. You cannot say that you cannot reach. What amuses me most is that the same people whom we always say it is hectic for them, they will move from whatever up-country district it is and come and meet an agent in Kampala. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but several times. But the Ministry of Gender is just here. They will not meet that ministry, and they will say it's very hectic. Once you are forming a decision to go and work abroad, you should be able to say that by the time I am leaving to go and work abroad, I am going through the proper recruitment channel. If you have not gone through a licensed company and you've got your own employment, please go and verify it with the ministry. Let the ministry, because the ministry only helps you to verify. It's verifying for you on your behalf, and it is for your own good. Because as opposed for you to reach there and they say that company doesn't exist. The time when I was with the commissioner, Commissioner Trinom Julius, who is now the current coordinator of the Prevention of Trafficking in Persons office, and a person called and said, my sister is dead. They are telling you that he's dead. And we asked her, how did the person leave that? There's a company in Dubai that gave her a job. We asked,
How did she go to Dubai?
She went in and said, I have employment. They gave her a job. And we asked her, did you ever verify that the company with the ministry? And said, no. She just went. She was sent, got a tourist visa to go to Dubai. When reaching there, but they told her, the easiest way for you to come is to get a tourist visa, but have your contract of employment. She reached their side and now she's employed. Now she was calling and said, she is dead, they want to bring back the body. So now you see, when you don't verify with the government, when you don't tell your own government where you are going and this, your destination and the reasons and everything, you put yourself into danger. By the time the government, which is a primary duty bearer, comes to your rescue, you are either dead or you are injured or you are suffering at the end of the day. Yeah.
Okay. So as we're looking at how we can tackle the issue of human trafficking cases, when you look at some of the other challenges that we have, besides human trafficking, cases of Ugandans that are actually rushing home without deportation, those who are just crying out to the government saying, all right, we use the licensing company, but now here's the thing, I'm being mistreated by my boss. For example, maybe you are a cleaner, a house cleaner, I'm being mistreated by the boss.
I want to come back.
Yes, I want to come back. But then again, you realize it takes time.
Yes.
When it's an emergency at the time.
You know, let me tell you, and to our dear viewers, like Uganda has procedures.
Okay.
Even other countries have procedures. And that's what I always tell migrant workers when they are leaving. Because at least sometimes I get a chance to speak to them. And say, don't think that it is like, you know, when you're in Kampala and you just want to rush back to Arua,
it's very easy.
You just jump onto a bus.
Very easy.
Once you're in another country, there are procedures. You know, the procedure you went through to enter is the same procedure you go through to exit it.
Okay.
So it's not just something that you just go. And I
Ticket.
always, ticket. Yeah, ticket, and you know you go. The other thing is, Paul, there are also elements of a poor working culture by Ugandans. Some of these people, if you ask them more detailed questions and say, why are you choosing to go? And that's why I told you, in labor migration, there are 4 stages. I had only talked about 2 stages, the pre-decision and the recruitment stage. There is an arrival stage and a return stage, which you have not yet talked about. But the pre-decision stage is very important. People to form to go and work abroad. What job? Why are you going to work abroad?
Which country?
Why can't you do the same job in Uganda? Why are you chosen to go? In Uganda, Paul, people minimize what they go. I'm going to give an example, domestic work. People don't take it as work, and yet it is work. But someone says, you know what, because someone earns 800, let me just go.
And do the
domestic work. Hear the statement, let me just go and do domestic work. But that is not the job she or he wanted from inside, that this is what I can do. Because already back home, they minimize this kind of work. So even as the person is leaving, let me just go. The other thing is that someone may leave this country to go and work abroad looking for 3 million shillings as capital. So if they work for about 6 months and they are earning about 800,000, they have the 3 million shillings.
True.
Sometimes they are forced to come up with all sorts of excuses to pull out of the country or of the contract.
A contract that is still running.
That's why the pre-departure orientation is very important for any migrant. For you to understand the terms and condition. That, for example, if you want to end your contract immediately, what you hear in the media is that they will never tell you reasons why the other person is saying, you know, you can't go. You've also breached your, because even you as a worker, you can breach a contract. I have not missed it, but because for you have made your capital of 3 million shillings, in your head you want to go and breach the contract. The employer is saying, okay, if you're breaching the contract says, please pay me back, pay me in lieu of notice 3 months. And the worker does not want to let go of that money. So we also need to understand the procedures. What is in this contract? Why? Is it that? Because I can, Paul, I can easily go on TikTok and say, I am suffering. Please help me, what, and everything. But when you go, we've had cases where a girl told a colleague to tell the family that she is going to die anytime soon. When the police came in and we went to the airport to receive this girl came in like a real summer. And she was shocked to find the mother seated waiting to see a person dying.
A person dying.
And she was all over. She was in shock. But guess what? The mother had used the money she had sent her for keeping to buy for her air ticket. Because the company said, no, that girl is fine and this is what is happening. When they brought her back, she was, when they told her, I had to use the money he had sent me to buy for your air ticket to come back. What we forget in this discussion is that even the workers, the migrants themselves, they also breach these contracts.
Okay.
And I told you where it's coming from. My target is 3 million shillings.
Capital.
Capital. Once I get it, in my mind, I must do all that it takes to come back to Uganda. And you know what? Why? Because Ugandans, we are not so much oriented in terms of written agreements. We are not oriented in that. So we don't take written agreements seriously.
Okay.
Because even in Uganda, when you look at it, most people are employed on oral contracts. So because we don't take that, we don't have that culture of written agreements. When this person is signing the contract, they say, it doesn't work. Let me just put it in my hand. But when you're just said and you breached it, the employer is saying, the contract says, if you want to go immediately, and this is what it says for domestic workers. If you are immediate, if I've not done anything wrong, me as your employer, you will pay me 3 months of your salary. 1, you buy your own air ticket. Now, because they have saved the 3 million shillings, they say, paying 3 months of my salary, hey, I'm losing. Buy my own ticket, I will not remain with anything. They come up with all sorts. And I'm not saying that that all the people who come up crying for help are lying. But let me tell you, some cases have been investigated and you find that this person is lying. Before I forget, there is also another new trend that our dear viewers need to know about. The trend is that traffickers are waiting for these young men and women in the countries of destination. They allow this person to go through proper recruitment channels, the recruitment agents and everything. When they reach the other side, now they are using, again, technology, to recruit them out of that employment. If the person went to work as a domestic worker, they say, you come out of that house. Here you will make more money. Come out. And then they end up into wrong hands. Now, them realizing that they are in now wrong hands, some of these people go on TikTok and start saying, I was taken by company A. Because from the very beginning, remember, Paul,
that is the company.
That's a company that she used. He used. But when they reached in the country of destination, they got out of this contract and they were taken out of it. Now they were indifferent. But when they are telling you which company took them, they will refer to the other company. Now, if you don't investigate this case, and that's why I always tell media people, investigate that case further, so that you are able to understand. If you don't investigate it further, you keep on saying, even these recruitment companies that are licensed, they take people, but still suffer. Yet the traffickers, what they have decided is that they let you to go through the proper channel. Okay. You have a company on your name, reaching their side. They recruit you. They traffic you out of that proper channel, and now you end up into the wrong hands. And now, realizing that now they're in the wrong hands, they start now saying, I was taken by company AA. But when you ask her, where are you right now? They will not be with that employer for which this company took them.
Okay.
Yeah. The other problem is renewal of contracts. You've gone on a contract of 2 years. The contract has expired. In that contract, there's a provision which says, upon completion of the 2-year contract, the employee who is now the worker will go on leave. Okay? They call it vacation of 30 days back home here, and the employer is supposed to facilitate that. Then as you renew the other contract. What happens is that most Ugandans, these people who are working there, they renew between the employer and themselves. They put minus the company. You understand?
So it's now mutual.
It's now mutual. At that point in time, Paul, you cannot hold the company responsible. You can't.
In case anything happens.
In case anything happens, because you have put the company, this third party, which your relative, the government, and me, the lawyer, would be holding accountable. Okay. You have put them outside this contract.
All right. Lydia, in a minute, quick advice to someone who's planning to move out of the country for the first time. And 2, if someone has challenges the other side, like if someone has faced mistreatment in a way, who should be the first person they should think of contact besides the family? Good. Lastly, in 2 minutes.
First of all, thank you so much. If you're planning to go and work abroad, like I said, 1, use the legal recruitment channels. Government has use a licensed company. At the company, verify the job that you are going to do. Ensure that you sign a contract before you leave, okay? Before you leave this country. Contract of your employment, because that guarantees you that where you are going, it is indeed the correct picture. The third one, you have to undergo what they call pre-departure orientation, because that also enables you to better understand your terms and conditions, but also the laws and procedures in the other country. Don't use illegal recruitment channels. Don't use agents that are not under a licensed company. For anyone who is faced with challenges, you're in a country of destination already, and you're facing with challenges at your workplace, please, we all know that the first point of reference is either one, to try to address those issues with your employer. If they fail, two, refer to that company in that country of destination that your company in Uganda worked with. If that fails, call this company back in Uganda, inform them of what is happening, and if that fails, we also have embassies sometimes in the country of destination. Locate it. Sometimes you can just go on your phone. Type in Embassy of Uganda, for example, if you're in UAE, Embassy of Uganda, in UAE, or contact, the numbers are there. Maybe you can also contact them. But besides that, also inform your relatives, friends, and families, so that they are also aware. They will help to come and report, inform the Ministry of Gender, inform organizations like Platform for Labour Action to follow up this particular case for you, just in case you're facing those challenges. But don't forget to use proper or legal channels when you're going to work abroad.
All right. Many thanks for joining us this morning. This has been an insightful discussion. Hope to have you again sometime.
Thank you.
And for the viewers out there, that's it for our topic discussion. We're looking at the issues of labor externalization in the country. And my guest was Lydia Buite, who is a director of programs at Platform for Labour Action. Quite a number of things and the details. For you as an employee who is seeking to move out of the country, it's quite important for you to at least monitor whatever she has said, to do that pre-decision before you take that huge step of leaving the country. Stick around, we'll be right back. After the break, we have Berige Andrew, who's going on ground for more.